Panchatattva, Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Hare Krishna, we will just share the screen. Just can you see Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So we will read this verse for today. Of course, further verses as well. So, okay, so reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 20. The chapter name is Lord Chaitanya instructs Sanatana Goswami. And text 157. Jnana Yoga Bhakti Tina Sadhine Ravase Brahma Atma Bhagavan Trivida Prakashe. Jnana Yoga Bhakti Tina Sadhine Ravase Brahma Atma Bhagavan Trivida Prakashe. Jnana Yoga Bhakti Tina Sadhane Ravase Brahma Atma Bhagavan Trivida Prakashe. Anyone would like to repeat any Prabhus? Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Nana Yoga Bhakti Tina Sadhane Ravase Brahma Atma Bhagavan Trivida Prakase.
Prabhu, anyone more? Any more Prabhus? Maybe one more.
Shall I go ahead, Mataji?
Yes, please, Prabhu.
Jnana Yoga Bhakti Tina Sadhanera Vashe Brahma Atma Bhagavan Trividha Prakashe.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Thank you. Any Matajis?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Jnana
Yoga Bhakti Tina Sadhane Ravase Brahma Atma Bhagavan Trividat Prakashe.
Thank you, Mataji. Any more? Any one more, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Jnana Yoga Bhakti Tina Sadhanera Vashe Brahma Atma Bhagavana Trividha Prakashe.
Hari Bol Jai. Okay, thank you. So, Jnana, knowledge, yoga, mystic power, bhakti, devotional service. Tina 3, sadhanera of the processes of spiritual life. Vase, under the control, Brahma, impersonal Brahman. Atma, localized Paramatma. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Trivida Prakashe, 3 kinds of manifestation. Translation by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. There are 3 kinds of spiritual processes for understanding the absolute truth. The processes of speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and bhakti yoga. According to these 3 processes, the absolute truth is manifested as Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Okay. I'll repeat the translation once more. There are three kinds of spiritual processes for understanding the absolute truth: the process of speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and bhakti yoga. According to these three processes, the absolute truth is manifested as Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapatantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Utapatakamalам Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagagana Lali Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishapano Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Karodi Bajalam Bangam Langai Deganimit Kripadamam Mande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitanamine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashya Tadesha Tarine Shri Chaitanya Chaitamrita Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So I will stop share and share the PPT. So, yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay, so we are seeing today verse 157 to 217. And so today we see that, as we know, this chapter is fully about the instructions Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Sri Sanatana Goswami. So, in this video, Sanatana Goswami he asked some questions which we saw in our earlier chapters, earlier sessions, and here today we see Mahaprabhu is glorifying Krishna, to Sanatana Goswami. So that's a very important thing we see today. So Mahaprabhu is telling the transcendental form of Lord Krishna is unlimited. So Krishna has got unlimited forms, and he has got, and his opulences are also unlimited. That is called Vaibhava. That means the Lord has got unlimited forms and unlimited opulence. And he has three potencies: the internal potency, which we call it as Chit Sakti, and external potency, which is the Maya Shakti, and marginal potency, which is Jiva Shakti. So these are the three potencies the Lord, possesses. And we see that in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned one of the subject is the last subject matter as Ashraya. Krishna is called Ashraya Vigraha. Ashraya means shelter, one who gives shelter. So, in Bhagavad Gita, we have 5 subject matter, right? The 700 verses in the Bhagavad Gita can be categorized, or you can say Any verses you can put under one of these 5 subject matters. So shall we request devotees to recollect what are the 5 subject matters in Bhagavad Gita?
Kala,
Kala, very nice. Yes,
Jiva,
time. Jiva,
Ishvara,
Ishvara,
Karma.
Karma,
yes, karma. One more.
Maya.
Sorry?
Maya.
Prakriti,
Prakriti, yes, Prakriti. Yes, brilliant. So basically, there are 5 subject matter. The entire 700 verses, any verse you take, sometimes it may be under two subject matters, but generally 5 subject matters. So we know Ishvara, which is the Supreme Lord, Jiva, the living entity, Prakriti, the material nature, Kala, the time, and Karma, the activities. So Srimad Bhagavatam, how many verses are there in Srimad Bhagavatam? Total verses in Srimad
18,000.
18,000, brilliant. Vatsana Mataji, 18,000. So 18,000 verses also, just like Bhagavad Gita has got 5 subject matters, broader subject matters. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam has got 10 broader subject matters. Very interesting. We are not going to go into detail, but I will just read through those, highlight those 10 subject matters. It is called Sarga. Sarga means elemental creation. Visarga, which is secondary creation. Sarga, Visarga. Then we see that it has got Manvantra, Sanam. Sanam means planetary systems, all the various planetary systems. Now we see the TOVP, Temple of Vedic Planetarium. They want to bring the whole model there. So it talks about the 3rd subject matter is Sthanam, which is the subject matter, the planetary systems. And then Poshanam, the Lord's causeless mercy or protection, how he protects the devotees. Poshanam. And then the creative impetus, Utaya, it is called a creative impetus. Then Manmantra, the different Manus who ruled, are ruling at the different point of time. That is Manmantra. Ishanukata, the signs of God. Isha means here the Supreme Lord. So the signs of the Supreme Lord. Then we have this disillusion. Then we have, what's the 9th one is a liberation, Mukti. And the 10th one, the last subject matter is called Ashraya, the supreme shelter. And it is mentioned how Krishna is the Ashraya Vigraha. That means one who gives shelter. And Ashrita means one who takes shelter. That is the surrendered souls. If you see anything, because Krishna's lotus feet is a shelter for all the living entities. It gives refuge. It gives refuge to all the living entities. And we see that that's the reason, it said that Jana Nivas. Everyone takes refuge at Lord's lotus feet. That's why Arjuna is telling Parabrahma, Parandama, Pavitra. You are the supreme master, you are the supreme afford. You are the
First comprehension.
supreme refuge. So we see that he's ultimate source of all the universes, and that's the reason the Lord, he gives protection. He's a source of protection. He gives protection to all the living entities. So he is called as the Ashraya Vigraha. And all others, he's the only Ashraya Vigraha. Even the expansions, the different Purusha incarnations, all of them, they are Ashrita. But the only Ashraya is Krishna. So that's 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam glorifies Krishna as the supreme shelter. So that is the point Mahaprabhu is explaining to Sanatana Goswami. And then he's also, oh Sanatana, please hear about the eternal forms of Lord Krishna. See, Krishna is the absolute truth. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. Everything emanates from him. Yet, You can see in this picture, the Lord is taking a very sweet, mood of, as a son of Nanda Maharaj, carrying his, like padukas. The Lord whose lotus feet the whole world is serving, all the living entities are taking refuge, and that Lord is carrying the padukas of Nanda Maharaj. So in Vrindavan. And Krishna is the original source of everything. Sarva Adi. He is the source of everything. There may be many things, but if we keep on going to the roots, it is the origin is Krishna. Adi, Sarva Adi. And the sum total of everything, Sarva Amsi. He appears as a supreme youth. So he's called as a very beautiful name because his deha, his body, Kishora Shekara. Kishora Shekara means he appears as a supreme youth. His whole body is composed of spiritual bliss. It's called as Chidananda Deha. Deha means body, and Chidananda means it's blissful Ananda. And he is the shelter of everything, Sarva Ashraya, master of everyone, Sarveshwara. So Mahaprabhu is glorifying Krishna. So again, he's saying here, Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, Sachidananda, Vigraha, Anadir, Adir, Govinda, Sarva Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. And his body is Satchit Ananda, eternal, blissful, spiritual body. Adi, he is the origin. So that is what we can see. Brahma Samhita prayers, that's the same thing is mentioned here. And if you see, Krishna is full of all opulences. His eternal abode is Goloka Vrindavana. And all other incarnations, which is emanating from Krishna, they are all plenary portions, are parts of the plenary portions. But only Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Ete chamse kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So Krishna is the original supreme personality of Godhead, and from him everyone emanates. And all the expansions, incarnations comes from Krishna. But he is the original supreme personality of Godhead. Swayam Bhagavan. So like that, the Lord is, Mahaprabhu is glorifying Krishna. And then he's telling how the supreme absolute truth can be realized in three features. What are the three features? We all know this, but still, that there are three processes first. And in the three processes, there are three ways of understanding the absolute truth. So the three processes are, Jnana, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and then we see Bhakti Yoga. So Jnana, Yoga, Bhakti. Three processes. So the Jnanis, their understanding is that they can only understand up to the level of Brahman. Their realization, Brahman realization. And the yogis, they reach up to the Paramatma realization. And who can understand the Bhagavan? Only a Bhakti yogi, a devotee, a Bhakta can only realize Bhagavan. So that is the point mentioned here. So impersonal Brahma Jyoti. So the Brahman realization means the Jnanis, they only understand the Lord is the supreme effulgent personality, supreme effulgence. They don't go beyond that. That the manifestation of impersonal Brahman effulgence, which is without where is the rays of Krishna. So where is this light coming from, by the way? That's why you see many people say God is light, God is power, God is Shakti. Yes, these are all true, but there is something more to it. Just like, if someone says sun rays is ultimate, we say that sun rays is how sun rays can be ultimate, because there should be some source from which these rays are coming, right? Sun rays is existing because there is a sun. If sun is not there, there is no sun rays. But if someone says sun rays is the ultimate, so that means it is only a partial understanding, but it is not a complete understanding. So it's here the example. It is exactly like the sun. When the sun is seen by our ordinary eyes, it appears to consist only effulgence. If you go in the street, in the noon time, if you go out, we can't see anything. We can only see some light. But that light is emanating from the sun. So, but if someone understands sun is only light, so then that is a partial understanding. Similarly, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, he is a original source. And he has different features. Brahman, the effulgence which is arising from his body, emanating from his body, is just only a partial understanding. So that's what a Jnani can reach up to. So the glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is an impersonal Brahman. That's what we call it as Brahman, which has no form, right? The rays doesn't have a form. The light doesn't have a form, which is absolute, complete, unlimited, which displays a variety of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. Yes. So the rays are the partial understanding. So then the yogis, what they do, they actually meditate upon the super soul, the Paramatma in the heart. So the Paramatma is also a plenary portion of the Supreme Lord. So it is only a portion of the Supreme Lord, plenary portion of the Supreme Lord, not the Supreme Lord himself. Yet, it is coming from the Lord. But it's a comparatively a better understanding of the absolute truth. So we see here, this yogi is actually meditating upon because in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, there is no form at all. When there is no form, how can we actually develop any loving connection? Can I develop a loving relationship with the light? Can I develop a loving relationship with some power which I can't see, or I may see something, some effulgence and some light? Can I do any service? Can I love? How do I do without a form? So that's why you see this people who are going to the Brahman, who has got this Brahman realization, they go to the Brahma Jyoti, but they cannot stay there for a long time because there is no rasa, there is no exchange. So they have to come back again. But whereas you see the yogis, better because there is a form, and this is a four-handed form of the Lord in the heart as a Paramatma, because but yet it is not, and there is no active relationship, an active service happening, because the yogi is just meditating on the form. That's all. But there is no active service or a loving exchange happening there. So that's why Paramatma realization is also partial understanding of the absolute truth. But when we see here the Bhagavan realization of the Lord with his beautiful features, that when someone actually realizes, because from that Lord only comes his effulgence, which is the Brahman, the Brahman also coming from Bhagavan, Paramatma feature also coming from Bhagavan. So the source is Bhagavan. So, and it is a complete understanding and the ultimate, understanding. So that is why, and who can actually understand, not just by our mental, because the Jnanis, they do more of mental speculation. And the yogis, they desire for mostly mystic powers. The Jnanis look for mukti. The yogi looks for, he's also looking for siddhi, right? So there is a want of something, but there is no service for the Supreme Lord. It is, I want this from you. There is nothing like I want to give you. Whereas in the Bhagavan, in the Bhakti Yogi, a Bhakta, he's having Bhakti. He's looking for Bhakti in the sense he's wanting to give something to the Lord. That is why it is very high. All others want something from the Lord, but here the Bhakta is wanting to give to the Lord. So that is why it is very sweet. That's why the Lord gets conquered by a Bhakta. That's why he says, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati Taraham Bhakti Upaharatam Asrami Payatatmana. Even a fruit, flowers, water, with love and devotion, I accept it. So that's why I said, only by devotional activity, Bhaktyamam Abhijanati, only by devotional service. Because there is active service. The Lord with his beautiful forms and features, there is a loving reciprocation. The Lord gets pleased by the devotion of his devotee. And when the devotee could see the reciprocation coming from the Lord, he feels that I'm so unqualified. I'm not a fit recipient for his mercy, but yet I have got so much. Oh, what can I do for my Lord? And then he is actually, with so much of gratitude, he wants to reciprocate to the Lord's love. And when the Lord sees that his devotee is making, he's giving all that love, then he reciprocates. So there's a competition happening between the Lord and his sweet devotee. So that's why it's such a sweetness exists in the in this understanding of the Lord. And Krishna says, in the Bhagavadgita, that only who was, what is that shloka? Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tatva deham punajanma naiti mameti so ajna. One who understands my janma, my birth, karma, my activities as transcendental, divyam. I'm not taking birth like another human being, in this world. Krishna appears in this world not like another human being. It may apparently look like, but Krishna, the Lord, is appearing in this world to deliver the fallen conditioned souls, to protect his devotees, to annihilate the miscreants, establish dharma, to have that loving relationship with his devotees. So his coming down to this material world is not like ordinary, the body which is full of material. His body is divyam. It is above all the material modes. It is transcendental, completely spiritual. So that's why it is very difficult if someone really understands that his appearance and his activities are transcendental, then that person will never take birth again. That Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita. That's why only by devotional service one can understand Bhagavan, not by intellectual, exercise, or by their mental speculation, or by yogic, mystic, this thing. This all cannot attract the Lord. So that's what we see here. And although his form is one, he can expand his form into unlimited numbers by his supreme will. So that's what. Yeah, the Lord has only, the Lord Krishna, he can, if he wants, he can expand into unlimited forms. We see in many pastimes, like Krishna had 16,108 palaces because he had 16,108 queens. And then he expanded unlimitedly. So when he wants, he can expand by his supreme will. But yet the Lord comes down. He can sit in the Goloka and then can do all the activity, killing of the demons. But yet the Lord is coming down just to reciprocate to his devotees. That's why this is an ultimate, understanding. So we see here that Brahman is the beginning of transcendental realization, the first one, the effulgence, just understanding that the effulgence of the Lord, the Brahma Jyoti, that is the beginning of transcendental realization. Paramatma, the super soul, is the middle, the second stage in transcendental realization. And the Supreme Personality of God, it is the ultimate realization of the absolute truth. So we can see here. Okay. Just so here we see a tabular, a big chart may sound bit technical. Of course, it's technical, but we will try to understand this as much as possible. Don't worry too much. So this one, it is mentioned that, yeah. So the Lord one, the Lord here, you see that this chart, can you see? Yeah. So Swayam Rupa. So Krishna is coming the original form as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. That is the actual Rupa of the Lord, Swayam Rupa. Then from there, he is his own expansion. The Lord expands. When he expands, it is Swayam Prakasha. And in the Swayam Prakasha, we see that there is Prabhava Prakasha and Vaibhava Prakasha. So what is Prabhava Prakasha and Vaibhava Prakasha? If you see here, it's given here. He expands himself into many forms, and at the same time, we see this, he expands himself into many forms. In 16,108 wives of in Dwaraka, the Lord, he's the same personality. He looks same, but in all the different places, he will be performing different activities. But his form looks the same, but it is more numbers. That is Prabhava Prakasha. In Vaibhava Prakasha, his form is differently manifested. Because in the 16,108 palaces, if you see, Krishna looks the same, but he does different activities, but he looks the same. The form is the same. But here we see his form is differently manifested according to different emotional features. So we see that the Lord's form is different in different places. Here, I'll just show you one. Okay, so that is like Balarama. Balarama is also Krishna, only Krishna's first expansion is Balaram, Lord Balaram. But if you see, Balarama is coming from Krishna, but there is a difference. Is Krishna is blackish in complexion, whereas Lord Balramji is fair in complexion. So we see that. And also, Krishna, when he appears, when he appears as, he appears as Vasudeva Krishna, as son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Vasudeva. Krishna is son of Devaki. And you see the spirit as a Kshatriya, different emotions. Krishna is coming as a, here, the mood is different. When he is in Vrindavan, and the spirit is different. So that is called Vaibhava Prakasha. That means Krishna's form looks, it's not the same. It actually manifests in different forms, but the original personality is Krishna, but from him various forms comes, but they are different. Externally seeing it, they look different, like Balramji example. Okay, then we have Tad Ekatma Rupa. So when his form, when his form and transcendental emotions are differently manifested, we see here Vilasa. Vilasa, the pastime expansions, Prabhava Vilasa, which is Adi Chaturvyuha. We know Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshana. The Chaturvyuha, the quadruple expansions, the first quadruple expansions, they are called as Prabhava Vilasa. they are coming for a particular, for a particular pastime. So that is Prabhava Vilasa. Prabhava Vilasa. And then this Prabhava Vilasa goes to here, we see Vaibhava Vilasa is Lord Narayana. And then again the other secondary, Dvitiya Chaturvyuha, the secondary quadruple expansions, which is Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So in that also, there is further, in each of them, there is further categories. So we see here, from this Sankarshana, we have got Swamsa. Swamsa means here the personal expansion. Vilasa means we see the pastime expansion. Okay, the personal expansion means the Lord expands himself into 3 Purusha incarnations. That is, the Karano, the Kashai Vishnu. Karano, the Kashai Vishnu is also called Mahavishnu. And we have Garbho, the Kashai Vishnu, and Shiro, the 3 Vishnus. That is first Karano, the Kashai Vishnu lies on the Karana ocean, the Kaushal ocean. Is also called Mahavishnu. And then from his body, from him all the material creation comes. And then what happens? Garbhoda Kashai Vishnu is the one, he is the, he enters into each of the universe, Garbhoda Kashai Vishnu. He lies down on the Garbhodaka ocean. And we see that from his navel comes the lotus flower where the Brahmaji comes from his navel. That is Garbhoda Kashai Vishnu. And then Shiroda Kashai Vishnu, he enters into each heart of each living entity as Paramatma. Shiroda Kashai Vishnu in the Shira ocean, milk ocean. So we see these are the 3 Purusha incarnations, Purusha avatars. And these 3 Purusha avatars are all the Swamsa. Swamsa means the personal expansion of the Lord. And from there, we have here the other, from Shiroda Kashai Vishnu, we see that there are many other expansions based on different categories, like there is Guna avatars. From the Purusha avatars, then we see there are other avatars called Guna avatar, means to take charge of a particular guna, modes. So Brahmaji is in charge of, Rajo Guna. Vishnu is in charge of Sattva Guna, and Lord Shiva is in charge of Tamo Guna. So then we have Leela avatars, with the different Leelas, what they perform. For that, the Lord comes in the different Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, like that, Vamana, all that comes in the Leela avatar. Then Yuga avatar, for each Yuga, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, when the Lord comes in particular form and mood. So that is Yuga avatar. Then the Manvantara avatar, the different Manu's time, the different avatars. And what is Avesha? Avesha means when a living entity is empowered by the Lord, by knowledge and strength, then he becomes a Sakya Vesha avatar. So we have examples, many examples are there. Ritu Maharaj is a Sakya Vesha avatar. So, like that, we have many personalities mentioned here. So these are some of the, categories. We can see how all of these expansions, further expansions, all that emanates originally from the Swayam Rupa, which is Krishna. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam says, Ete chamse kala pumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Swayam Bhagavan is Krishna. From him, all these different expansions comes. So the origin is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. So that is the point mentioned here. These things, again, we have one more chart which we will show you next week. I think that will help us to understand better because it is a bit condensed version where you can see the categories nicely. This is just to give a little detail. Then we will go into that next week. So also, we see here the presiding deities for, in our calendar, we see Vaishnava calendar also. The different dates, like we have the English calendar, and there is if you see in the Vaishnava calendar, the different names are given. Shrida month, Vasudeva month, Padmanabha month, like that. So who is the presiding deity for each of the months? It is mentioned here. So we call, accordingly, to that month. So here we have Chaitra. Vishnu is the presiding deity. Vaishakha, Madhusudana, Jeshta, Trivikrama, Ashada, Vamana, like that. Shravan month, Sridhara. But it's all names of Krishna only. But each month has a different names. Bhadra, Rishikesha, Ashwina, Padmanabha, Kartik month, Damodara, Agrahayana, Keshava, Pausha, Narayana, Magh, Madhava, Falguna, Govinda. So like that, the different presiding deities are there for each of these months, and it's all Krishna only. As you know, Krishna is the primary name, all attractive, and Krishna has got many secondary names. On all those secondary names has some connection with some leela or some pastimes or connected to it. And each of the names we can understand wonderful meaning for all these names given here. Okay, let's see. So anyone knows what's the meaning of Vishnu? Vishnu. No sound. Is it? You are able to hear? Okay, so let's. Huh?
Yes, Mataji, we can hear.
You can hear. That's nice. Okay, so Vishnu means.
But when Krishna is in the office, he's known as Vishnu.
Beautiful. Krishna in the office is Vishnu. Very sweet way, Madhuri Mataji. Very correct. Of course, true.
When
It's official.
he's creating as a Vishnu.
Yes, yes.
Vishnu.
Yeah,
The creation is for Vishnu.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Madhusudana. So Madhusudana means what is the meaning of Madhusudana? Anyone would like to say what is Madhusudana means?
Madhu is a demon.
Huh? Sorry?
Madhu is a demon,
Yeah, killer of Madhu demon.
Yes,
Yes, Mataji, killer of Madhu demon. Okay. Okay. Trivikrama. Trivikrama, anyone would like to try? What is Trivikrama means? Krishna has got a name Trivikrama.
Conqueror of three worlds, Mataji.
Yes, correct. Because the Lord came as Vamana, isn't it? The time he became, he expanded himself and, measured all the three worlds, right? Trivikrama, yes. Vamana, the dwarf. The dwarf Brahmana. Krishna came as a dwarf Brahmana. Okay, Sridhara.
Husband of Lakshmi, Mataji.
Yes, Sridhara, one who holds Lakshmi ji. Yeah. Rishikesha.
Controller of this.
Yes, controller of senses or master of senses. Wonderful. Padmanabha.
Lotus like navel, Mataji.
Lotus like navel. Brilliant. Damodara.
Whose belly was tied with.
Belly tied with the rope.
Yes, belly tied with rope. Yes. Damodara, everyone will know, isn't it? Because of the Damodar programs. Keshava.
One who kills the Keshi demon.
And Kesi demon, yes. Narayana.
One who is the shelter of entire anyone.
Also, what other meaning is there?
One who gives Narada to others.
Yeah. Different explanations are given for Narayana. Any other this thing you can think of?
One who gives shelter to everyone, Mataji.
Okay. Yes.
Nar and Aina. It's made of Nar and Aina.
Yeah. Madhava. Madhava. Husband of
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi.
Yes, husband of goddess of fortune. Govinda.
Controller of senses.
Govinda.
One who gives pleasure to the senses.
Pleasure to senses.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So like that, we see that each of the months have got the Lord, in a different features and different mood as the presiding deity. And then we see here the residences of. I'm sorry. No, the questions are getting out. Okay. Residences of the Lord. The Lord's form as Keshava resides at Mathura. And as Jagannatha, the Lord is at Nilachal.
Nilachal.
As Bindu Madhava, he is at Prayaga. As Madhusudana, he is at Mandara Parvata, Mandara Hill. Then Vasudeva, Padmanabha, and Janardana, he is at Anandaranya. As Vishnu, he is in Vishnu Kanchi. As Hari in Mayapur. So these are some of the details given. I don't know why I'm jumping to the okay. In the Anandaranya, Krishna is known as Vasudeva, Padmanabha, and Janardana. At Vishnu Kanchi, he is known as Vishnu, and at Mayapur, he is known as Hari. There are millions and billions of such forms of the Lord distributed all over the universe. The Lord has so distributed himself all over the universe just to give pleasure to the devotees, to give the common man facility to eradicate his sins and to establish religious principles in the world. That's why you see, almost every holy place, there are so many holy tirthas. So you see, the Lord is so merciful and, is always eager to give, to deliver the fallen conditions also. The holy tirthas are all meant for that, so that the Lord is giving them the opportunity, giving us the opportunity, so that we can visit those places and take the blessings of the Lord and deliver ourselves, purify ourselves, and can awaken our love for God. There was one interesting question asked by Parikshit Maharaj, to Sukadeva Goswami. This comes, Srila Prabhupada is discussing this particular thing when he was discussing about the Paramatma feature, after that, when we were discussing the three features of the absolute truth, Brahman, Paramatma, and, Bhagavan. So at one point, Parikshit Maharaj is asking one question. At one point, he's asking a question. Why, that the residents of Vrindavana love Krishna so much that, in fact, they their love for Krishna was more than their own offsprings. I mean, more than their own children, they loved Krishna so much. So what was the reason? How was it possible? In that, actually, Sukadeva Goswami is answering to Parikshit Maharaj that, every Atma, every soul is very, very dear to, every soul is very dear for once, because everyone, the point he mentions is that, let me read that one. Very nice. I should read as it is. It will sound better. Just give me 1 second. I will read that one. I don't know whether I can screen share and read. Okay. I'll read as it is, so it will be better. Very beautiful explanation. I think this is for all of us to hear. And what a beautiful answer given. An answer for all the, this one, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-55. Parikshit Maharaj is asking, Prabhupada is writing in the purport. Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadeva Goswami why Krishna was so beloved by the residents of Vrindavana, who loved him even more than their own offsprings or life itself. At the time, Sukadeva Goswami replied that everyone's Atma or soul is very, very dear, especially to all living entities who have accepted material bodies. But that Atma, spirit soul, is part and parcel of Krishna. For this reason, Krishna is very dear to every living entity. So he's telling that for everyone, we love ourselves very much. That means our soul, because it's natural and we love ourselves. And then, but at the end of the day, the soul is part and parcel of Krishna. So that means we love Krishna also, and then if you see from another angle, everyone's body is very dear to oneself, correct or not? And one wants to protect the body by all means, because within the body, the soul is living, right? We are living in this body. So our body is very dear to us and we try our best to protect our body. And it is mentioned here, but due to the intimate relationship between the soul and the body, the body is, 1 minute. The body is important and dear to everyone. Similarly, the soul, being part and parcel of Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is very, very dear to all living entities. And why? But okay, very dear we are telling, but we don't feel that. Why? Because unfortunately, the soul forgets its constitutional position and thinks he is only the body. Thus, the soul is subjected to the rules and regulations of material nature. So what happens? We only think this is my body and all that belongs to my body is Janasya moho ayam aham mameti. That means I am the body and this belongs to me. So we get into that mode. But when a living entity by his intelligence reawakens his attraction for Krishna, he can understand that he is not the body, but part and parcel of Krishna. Thus, filled with knowledge, he no longer labors under the attachment to the body and everything related to the body. By rendering devotional service under the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. So basically, why the residents of Vrindavana could love Krishna so much, more than one's life. Generally, everyone loves them first, then only all others comes. Doesn't matter, even their own family members. But here, how the residents of Vrindavana could love Krishna more, because they have reawakened their love. They have reawakened their relationship with Krishna. They know that I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am not this body. I am soul and I am part and parcel of the Lord, and I am eternally related to the Lord as his servants. That is the reason they could love Krishna so much. So when we see the pastimes in Vrindavan, when Krishna is coming along with all the cowherd boys and the mothers of all the cowherd boys, they first go and try to embrace Krishna, and they show so much love for Krishna, then they actually embrace their children. Generally, it is not so. But we see, and what is the reason? Here very clearly is mentioned that because they have reawakened their relationship with Krishna. But in the conditioned soul in this material world has not reawakened their relationship. That is the reason one is not able to feel that love for Krishna. One is not able to feel, one is able to only think myself, I, me, and mine. If it is my body, I will give the best, focus. My body is my first focus, my priority. Myself is my priority. And anything related to my body, anything connected to me is my priority first. Then comes all others and the Lord. That is because of our conditioned nature, and we have not reawakened our relationship with Krishna. So this is a very beautiful point. But how do we reawaken the relationship? It's mentioned by rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. One immediately acquires the costless knowledge. We understand that knowledge comes by rendering devotional service to Krishna. All that is bothersome to the heart and all that ignorance, gets removed. And one, jnana deepena bhashvata, light dwelling in their hearts, the shining lamp of knowledge destroy the ignorance. And Krishna says, Dadami buddhiyogam tam, yena mam. I give the knowledge by which they can come to me. So it's a very wonderful point here. We can see, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning this purport. So these are the various things we see. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing, to Sri Sanatana Goswami. Very wonderful. There are much more. All the expansions, very technical actually, and the different expansions and further expansions and all that. But next week we will have a condensed version of the chart where we can see all these details. So we will end here and we'll go to the questions. Oh, give me a second. Little technical. Prabhu, what you are able to see in the screen at this point?
At this point, Mataji, Beda is 162.
Okay. Number. Okay, brilliant. Let me. Can you see now?
Yes, yes. We can see the PPT. Mataji.
Okay, so Prabhu, you can take over. I'll go to the question. Shall I go to the questions?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, thank you, devotees, for attentive reading. Now it's time for attentive participation. So the question one starts from here. Yes, Mataji. It's very straightforward question. Who is the first expansion of Krishna?
Balrama.
Rita Mataji, you can mention to everyone. Your message came direct to me, so yeah. Hare Krishna. So the correct answer is like first expansion is Balramji, and the correct answer is given by first three devotees are Satya Mataji, Anuradha Mataji, and Yamini Mataji. Haribo. So now the question 2, it starts from here. Please mention the names of second expansion of Krishna, Chatur Vivaha, which Mataji was mentioning, like Chatur means 4, so 4 expansions are there. This is a kind of subjective question, you can say. This subjective question, so we'll give 30 seconds more so the devotees can answer.
So Vasudeva. Vasudeva. So
Yes,
Krishna,
Mataji. So one of the
Vasudeva. Vasudeva. So there's Prim and then Aniruddha.
exactly, Mataji. Yeah. So I'll announce that who has given the first three answers in the chat box. So yeah, correct answer is like what Mataji said, like Vasudev, Aniruddha, Pradyuman, and Sankrishna. So the devotees who answered first three are Nitai Pran Prabhu, Anuradha Mataji, and Satya Mataji. Very good. So now question 3 starts from here. And the question 3rd is, please select the correct name. Purusha Avatar, different name of the Vishnu of the expansion. Here's the multiple answers are choices there. So yeah. So please select the correct name. Purusha Avatar, different name of the Vishnus in the creation of the expansions. Yes, devotees, quick. Here multiple answers are there. I just mentioned over there. Just 10 seconds, we'll wait more. Correct. So here all answers are correct. If you see, like Mataji explaining, like Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu, Siru Dakshaya Vishnu, and Karano Dakshaya Vishnu. And Mahavishnu is the synonyms of Karano Dakshaya Vishnu. So that's what all answers are correct. And the devotees who have given the A, B, C, D are Anuradha Mataji first, then Bhaskar Prabhu, and Nitai Pran Prabhu. So these are first three devotees who have given the correct answer. Now the question number 4 starts from here. What is the residence of Jagannath Purushottama in material universe? Most of the devotees have got the correct answer, and the correct answer is Nilachal. And the first three devotees are Anuradha Mataji, Satya Mataji, and Nitai Pran Prabhu. Very good. Now we are going ahead the last question, and the question number 5th starts from here. Who is the presiding deity of Kartik Mas? So we'll take from the class what Mataji was mentioning during the class time. So yeah, the correct answer is Damodara. And the first three devotees are Anuradha Mataji, Yamini Mataji, and Nitai Pran Prabhu. Jai. Thank you so much, devotees, for the participation. Handing over to you, Mataji.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much. And thank you to all the devotees. It's wonderful. Okay, so so we thought it will be nice. This everyone can try to attempt. And you can use the chat box. Whatever, like today we discussed. You can mention some of the key points. It could be a one-liner. It could be a couple of points, whatever, but it would be very nice so everyone can recollect what we have actually discussed. So that will be like a, good learning. So I'm just, Prabhu, can you read, is it possible if you could kindly?
Yes, Mataji, what to read?
I mean, if anyone has shared anything.
Yeah. I think these devotees are typing, Mataji. Will give some 10 seconds more.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. So, shall I read Mataji? Satya Mataji has
please.
mentioned one point.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
please.
Krishna is the original supreme person, and all other incarnation are his expansion. And the second, Anuradha Mataji has mentioned 3 different realization of Lord and 3 different spiritual processes: Swayam Rupa, Tad Ektam Rupa, and Avesha. And the third point is subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam. These 3 points Mataji has mentioned.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other points? Anything what we discussed today?
Yeah. So Silpi Mataji has mentioned like Krishna is the supreme shelter.
That's nice. Ashraya, yes. Pramita Mataji has written some. Can you say, Prabhu, Pramita Mataji has written something?
I think Mataji has directly mentioned to you. I think it didn't come in everyone's status.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Satya Mataji has mentioned like because of being part and parcel of Krishna, every soul is attracted to Krishna. Yeah, now Pramita Mataji has come. So when we are awaken our true consciousness, then we can realize our real love for Krishna than anything in this material world.
Beautiful. Because Satya Mataji, because of being part and parcel of Krishna, every soul is attracted to Krishna. That's nice.
Sachi Mataji has mentioned like bhakti is a matter of heart, not technical subject.
Yes. Yes. Okay, that's nice. Thank you. It's nice always, to look back and then, kind of discuss. It will be good to remember. So, yeah, thank you. Haribol to all the devotees who have actively taken part, and for everyone joined today. Prabhu, we have the anything coming up this week?
Yes, Mataji. I think if move to the next slide, Mataji. Like,
yeah, so we have the announcements coming 16th, which is Thursday, is Vijaya Ekadasi, fasting from grains. Ekadasi is always very special day. As Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, it's a day for us to also see how much spiritual progress we have made from last Ekadasi to this Ekadasi. It's always a time to introspect and work on so that we can move forward in our spiritual journey. And it's a day we can fast from the grains and chant as many rounds possible and do devotional service. Okay, 17th Feb is disappearance day of Shri Ishvara Puri, the spiritual master of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord himself has accepted such a personality, as his own spiritual master, a very elevated personality. And 19th is Shivaratri, and Lord Shiva is Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, the topmost Vaishnava. And by chanting the holy name of the Lord and rendering devotional service to Krishna, Lord Shiva becomes very, very pleased. And that's what he says in the Rudra Gita. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we have Rudra Gita, which he gave it to the Prachetas, because the Prachetas were taking austerities, to see the Lord. And then the Lord Shiva was very pleased with them. And then he comes and gives them this, Rudra Gita. And the Lord himself says, that Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Shri Rama Nama Varanane. 3 times telling Lord Rama's name is equal to chanting the 1,000 names of Vishnu. And we see the Bhagavadgita, Gita Mahatmyam in Padma Purana. Lord Shiva is glorifying every chapter of Bhagavad Gita to Mother Parvati. So much of glories. So it's a day when we actually, pray to Lord Shiva to give us that blessing to become a wonderful Vaishnava, a sincere Vaishnava, a true Vaishnava. Surely that will be very, very pleasing to Lord Shiva. And chanting the names, because Lord Shiva himself tells Mother Parvati how chanting Lord Rama's name is very glorious. So if we also chant Hare Krishna mantra, it will be a very great blessing and very pleasing to Lord Shiva. Okay. So any other announcements we have, Prabhu, Vivek Prabhu? Vivek Prabhu,
Yes, Mataji. So we are starting the Gita Gyan from this 15th of February, which is a Wednesday. So we have got approximately 300 registrations across all the 4 languages. We are just praying to everyone that we should be able to execute this 9 batches smoothly like last year. So if you get the request from any of your outreach leader for facilitation, please come up, and even if you do 3-4 days, it will be a nice coverage, because sometimes it becomes very difficult to dedicate 18 days continuously for Gita Gyan. So if you have time, please talk to your Gita Gyan outreach leaders, like Ammu Mataji from Jagannath Dham, from Dwarka is Lakshmi Chaitanya Mataji, from Mathura it's Rahul Prabhu. So if you have time and willing to do, please reach out to these persons and they will guide you how to do that. And second thing is regarding there is a Sankirtan festival, MSF, which Ashish Prabhu has planned this Saturday. So they are expecting 5 devotees from each dham, and they are going on Southern Sea. And we are reaching there at 11 a.m. So if any devotee is interested, please join us. So 5-6 devotee from each dham should help here in this Sankirtan. So devotee will bring the books and everything. Just we have to go and help there. So this is kind of urgent request we have from Sankirtan team. And for 7th of March, which is Gaur Purnima, Tuesday. So we have received the list of services from Soho Temple. So I will publish soon in one of the group, and then you can nominate for yourself. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. You winner?
Yeah, so Mataji, so announcement done, just we are waiting for darshan. So spotlight.
Exactly.
Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra.
Ranjani, my Prabhu, do you got the list of the winners?
Exactly, Mataji. Shall I announce? So because I think you.
Yeah, it's okay. You can announce, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this week we have more devotee entry here. So first winner is Anuradha Achutapriya Mataji, Hari Bol. Second position is Satya Mataji, Hari Bol. And third is like Nitai Pran Prabhu, Hari Bol.
Jai.
Thank you so much, devotees, for actively participation and answering the questions.
Okay. Thank you. Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani Sudarshan Chakra ki jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Panchatattva ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Please encourage. I think as said, the 15th Gita Gyan is beginning. So it's a very nice opportunity. I think hope all your friends and the families, colleagues, they are all added there. All the best for the new batch of devotees. Hare Krishna. See you next week. Thank you, devotees. Hari Bol.
Thank
Hari
you.
Bol. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna,
pranam.
everyone.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.